Is Declan Rice a legend? That is the question we will be asking to all you guys tonight. We'll be discussing that in length. As we seem like we're on the eve of a move to Arsenal for himself. So, listen, I'm a bit pissed off with Declan Rice talk. So, yeah, but we'll have a good discussion about that one tonight. But yeah, we'll be discussing other things as well. Chuck some subjects in there. What you want us to talk about tonight? We'll be talking about all things West Ham. We'll be talking about the transfer window, of course, and anything else that we can think of along the way. I do apologise for it to be a little bit earlier tonight, but I do have to get away quite early. But Dan, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm really excited to get into this debate because this legend debate, it's been flying all over social media. Fans have been getting into it. You know what I mean? I've got strong opinions on this. Others seem to have strong opinions on this. So it's going to be a good one, obviously. And then we'll get into, once he's out the door, who's in the door. You know, a lot of excitement of a different West Ham next season.
Yeah, we have to take this as you know, listen, we've known this moment was coming for a couple of years now. He's made it quite clear that he wasn't going to sign a contract. He made it quite clear that his ambitions is to play Champions League football, and he's played with us for a little while now. Good evening to everyone in the chat, by the way. We'll be starring your comments, so do get them in as we discuss. So, Dan, let's get straight into this one, mate. Right. So, is Declan Rice a West Ham legend? Discuss.
No, not for me. For a few reasons. One, to me, I don't think you can be a legend or considered a legend while you're still playing football. Like, to me, legends are people you look back on. That's a legend. You can't be a legend currently. Do you know what I mean? I think the word is thrown about far too much. And you know, he's going to Arsenal. He's going to, you know, another London club that he's chosen to go. And I'm not slating him or anything like that, but he's going there. And like I said on Twitter, if he goes there and wins trophies, becomes their captain, spends longer at Arsenal, he'll be an Arsenal legend. You know what I mean? And some people go, oh, you could be a legend. There's not hardly what players are legends at multiple London clubs. It's very rare you're a legend at multiple English clubs. Very rare. But to be associated with that club that you go on and you're invited on Sky Sports to pundit for that club because you're so associated with it and you're invited back. I don't think he's been a great player for us. Probably a hero, maybe, or at least during his time. But a legend, no.
Okay, fair play. So I'm going to come down the other side of the argument. So I'm going to say he is a legend. He's a legend in the terms of he's a captain. He's only one of 3 captains to ever lift a trophy for us, the other being Bobby Moore and Billy Bonds. I do understand that Bobby Moore, of course, stayed with us longer for his whole career, and Billy Bonds, for a matter of fact, after we bought him from Charlton. But there was times where Bobby Moore did want to leave the club. It just never materialised for him. And a lot of people would forget about that. So we also associate, I think we had the discussion a couple of months ago about Antonio. Is Antonio a West Ham legend? Now, if we're going to put Antonio into that bracket, I'd say yes. You know, he's a legend in not folklore, but he's a legend in the fact that he's got a status with us. So, as I said, Antonio is a record Premier League goal scorer. So by definition, there's a legend there. You know, you got to think about the word legend, what the word legend means. Do you leave a legacy? That's where the legend status come from. Do you leave a legacy? And until Mikel Antonio's record is broken, he will leave a legacy. Listen, that record is there to be broken, Mikel Antonio. So there's always a discussion about that. But with a trophy, you're leaving that as a permanent mark of history. We don't forget our 64, 65, 80, 75 cup wins, you know. So they've got a legacy there. So you've got to say, by definition, Declan Rice is a legend. But what I would say is this, is that the game of football has greatly changed over the years, you know, from the days of You know, the early days, really since the Premier League era has come about, Champions League and all of that sort of stuff. He's a young boy. You know, he's a young boy. He's 24 years old, and it isn't a coincidence that, you know, this Champions League stuff and this, you know, the England stuff and playing for this top six and the money and all that has been driven down people's throats, left, right, and centre, by the media, by the Premier League, by the branding. So young boys, when they come up now, it used to be they dreamed of playing for their club in the FA Cup final. Now it's I dream of playing in a Champions League final, which is fine. You know, that's the way that football is going. But I've got to say, in my lifetime, he's the only captain to lift the trophy. He's always conducted himself flawlessly, in my opinion. Yes, he did have a few wobbles when he was put under pressure about, you know, with the Champions League stuff. You know, he wants to win everything. I've got no problem with ambition. I've got no problem with it whatsoever. You know, at the end of the day, there is only a few clubs in world football that can match ambitions. I don't think Arsenal's one of them. But then that's his opinion. You know, it's all about opinions at the end of the day. He leaves with my blessing. That's what I would say. He leaves with my blessing. He give us a good few years. He give us a lot longer than the likes of Rio, Lampard, you know, Joe Cole, and all them guys that, you know, they were cult heroes, but they left very early on. Sometimes not by choice, but sometimes by design. You know, and he, as much as, you know, towards the end, he was sort of pushing. No, I don't think he was pushing for a move, but he was open to a move. He never once turned around and made a fuss. He always gave 110%. He always spoke about us very highly, even up to lately when, you know, there is obviously big questions over his future and big rumours about his future. Somebody asked him in public, you know, who do you want to play for? And he just said, West Ham. I'm West Ham. I play for West Ham. We can argue that, you know, it's a PR spin and all that sort of thing. But listen, I know Declan a little bit, you know, and from the impression I've got any time I've spoken to him is that he loves his club and he loves the fans. And it's a difficult decision for him, but it's a decision that he has to make for his own career. He's never going to win the Champions League with West Ham. He's never going to play in the Champions League with West Ham. He would have had discussions with Sullivan. He would have had discussions with Moyes, you know. And when you look at how the last couple of years, especially last year, panned out, although we won a trophy, the football wasn't great. It wasn't good at all, you know. And he just wants to progress his own career, which you cannot, you know, if a player lacks ambition, then they're not playing the game right. They're playing the game for the wrong reasons.
You're killing me now. How am I supposed to respond to Aldo? You just done a 7-minute monologue, and I've got to go back now to try and counterpoint about 7 minutes worth of stuff. You're killing me, man. Right, let me scramble my brain around to try and go over all of that. To me, the captain thing is not everyone makes a big deal of he captained us to a trophy. He captained us, right? If Mark Noble had stayed around and was still the captain, we still win that trophy. If Creswell was given the armband, we still win that trophy. So this idea that he was the captain, so that makes him an extra legend. He was a captain at West Ham for one season, right? It's not like, oh, you know, like Noble, where you look back and he was captain season on season, you know. He got it, Noble left, he had the armband for one season and said, cool, I'm done, I'm out, right? This whole talk about Bobby Moore, you know, he's desperate to leave. It was a point, he had a falling out with the manager. You have fallen out with the manager, and his family have come out and said, yeah, at that point, he wanted to go Derby, but they resolved it and he stayed. Yes, he went to Fulham in the end when he was pretty much at the tail end of his career. It's very different leaving in your prime, right? or coming into your prime to go to another London club because you think you can do better, right? Than be in a club to when a team's like, nah, listen, you're out of favour now. I don't begrudge anyone. People talk about this Billy Bonds going to Millwall thing. We sacked him. We sacked Billy Bonds, and we expect him to go, yeah, just don't take jobs at this club, this club, this club, this club if they come into you. So if they come in for you, stay unemployed. No, like it's a different narrative when you push someone out to when someone forces their way out or pushes themselves out, right? You're pushing to leave us to go to Arsenal, right? And I know a lot of people that are from Essex or from up north or whatever don't get the London thing or the Arsenal thing, because we're not rivals in terms of teams, but there's always, as a Londoner, you have that pride of, I'm an East End boy and North London. There's always that. I dislike all London clubs. So there's that side of things. I'm trying to fucking go through all your points now. The Rio thing, Rio, Lampard, all of them, they was at a different era. Like they had no say. So they didn't have to push themselves out because the Browns pushed them out for them. They didn't get a chance to decide whether they wanted to leave. 20 mil, you're off. You're off.
Do you think that's different for Declan? Look, Declan has not signed a contract. Yeah. He is quite entitled to see out his contract. And if David Sullivan, look, there's still discussions ongoing tonight about the payment structure. And it's been refuted once again. If Arsenal cannot match the payment structure, they'll refuse it. So, look, he's not gone yet. But I'm just saying, like, I've got no doubt in my mind, right? Now, let's think back to someone, an Arnautovic. Yeah, let's go to an Arnautovic. An Arnautovic was a cult hero at West Ham. We loved an Arnautovic. He was the bastard we all love to hate. And he was touting for a move himself, yeah. Then he come out on the eve of the or post Wimbledon, PR disaster by West Ham. Said, no, I'm staying here. I'm signing a new deal, blah blah blah. And then at the end of the season, he started throwing his toys out the pram. Declan Rice would never do that. If Declan Rice, if they turned around tomorrow and said, Declan, look, we're refusing it. Arsenal can't come up with the cash. They want to play by Klarna, blah blah blah, whatever. He'll turn around and go, okay, no problem.
That don't make him a legend. It makes him a good professional. We're not disputing his character. Like, he's been exceptional, right? Hasn't kicked up a fuss. Great professional. We'll look back on him and he can hold his head up of how he's conducted himself at this club. Absolutely. We're talking about a West Ham legend up there with the greats, with the Lampard Seniors, Bobby Moores, the Billy Bonds, like Trevor Brookings.
He's still one of the best players that ever come out of our academy.
Yeah, he is. He's a quality player. Being good at football don't make you a West Ham legend. Being very, very good at football. Rio Ferdinand is not a West Ham legend. Frank Lampard, one of the very best that's come out of this academy, is not a West Ham legend. You don't get legend status just for being very good. We've had some exceptional players over the years. Really good. Tevez, some people was throwing the legend tag around for him, which is ridiculous.
Okay, what about Paolo?
This is the thing. Some people consider him a legend.
I do.
A lot of people do.
He was my favourite ever player. He was fully committed to the club to the day he left.
Yeah, and I think the fact that he turned down Man United gives him a big sort of go in his favour. To me, truly loved the club. Didn't want to play for anyone else.
What about Julian Dix?
See, Julian Dix loved the club. Obviously, he went to play for Liverpool, and I'm trying to remember the circumstances around him leaving for Liverpool. Because I
think similar circumstances.
Didn't he fall out with? Did he leave during the Billy Bonds era? Because I know him and Billy Bonds clashed.
Redknapp, I believe.
Was it Redknapp era? Yeah. So, but the thing is, at least he's gone to Liverpool. Like Rice has stuck his arse out.
Who were Liverpool at the time?
What do you mean? Yeah, but it's Liverpool. What do you mean with Liverpool? Liverpool would they hadn't long come off of their area of dominance.
That was I believe that was in 93 or 94.
Yeah,
and they was going for a rough patch.
well, they'd won the league only a few seasons before.
Only a few seasons before, but then football was changing. The Premier League come about. You had the rise of the likes of Blackburn, Man United. It was in full swing. Liverpool were nowhere near.
Arsenal haven't won the league, in 18 years.
And look,
And never won a Champions
I'm not refuting Arsenal. I'm not saying that.
The thing is, it's not just that they've not been good historically. Like it's the fact that he has had this whole "come get me" attitude for Arsenal, right? They were nowhere near mentioned last season, and he stuck his ass out for Arsenal. When you've got Man United out there, Man City's, all of that. That's why there was all this talk about no, he just wants Arsenal, and Man City were very sort of tepid when in their approach because of all of this Arsenal talk. It was that like you're so dedicated to leaving West Ham for Arsenal, not just I'm gonna go because I want champions. It's this club, like that's the club that you want, and now we're all having to suffer the end of it of their awful fans. What is it? You've just sold your star to Mikel Arteta and all this crap. Like that to me, it'll always go down as a great player we've had, an excellent pro. But to put him up there as a legend just because he wore the armband during that campaign, he was an excellent player. But if he's getting a legend status for that, then we need to go round. Let's go round the whole 11 that played throughout that Conference League campaign, that played their hearts out. You have to. He's 24 years old. He's been in the first team for since he was 19. So about 5 years. And we're saying he's a legend. We don't know what he's going to go on to do. We don't even know if he's going to, we probably won't celebrate if he scores against us, but he could score the goal that sends West Ham down, in an Arsenal shirt, which they would love. Legend, it gets thrown about too much.
Well, listen, I'm not sitting here and disputing about Arsenal fans, and just because he's put us through the ringer with the Arsenal fans are a strange breed. I mean, I was having a discussion with an Arsenal fan today. He was telling me about, we was challenging for the league where he was battling relegation, but they're talking like they've done it for season upon season upon season. It was only the last 2 seasons, the last campaign and the campaign before that. Well, the campaign before that, we finished above them, and the campaign just gone, we was battling for European football with them. So it's not like we're a million miles away in terms of like where we have been recently. I would say that, they've got an exciting project. Listen, they've got good salesmen. They've got a good salesman in Arteta. I'm very shocked that, the only thing I would say now is that, Arsenal are the only ones at the table. It's been banded around, all of these rumours get banded around. I'm not listening to any rumours about what he's been doing and where he's been doing. The bid came in after the Europa League final, from what I understand, the Conference League final. He hasn't been to dinner with Mikel Arteta. He hasn't been speaking to him for months. Or if he has been speaking to him, he's been speaking to him with permission. And I'm sure that they're not the only people he's been speaking to. So, I'm not having any of this, to tarnish his name. And I think that's what a lot of people do, when they're hurt. They tarnish people's names. Look, I'm hurt. I don't want to see him leave the football club. I don't want to. But I was hurt when Paolo left, like I was hurt when Dixie left the first and second time, like I was hurt when Arnautovic left, like I was hurt with Dimitri Payet left. The football club moves on. It doesn't matter. But for me, just because of what he done for us and the commitment he showed us and the the way he's gone about his business and lifting the trophy, he goes down as a legend.
Let me read this comment from Nick from Claret and Blue Booze, because I thought it was quite good. I don't agree with all of it, but this is what he said. There's a common denominator with the most hated, once loved players to leave this great club. It's when the move is forced by the player. It's not a new age fan kind of thing. We've always been this way. You don't congratulate your missus for being a great wife for 6 years before dumping you for a new man with more money and a bigger house. It's worse when you realize the bitch has been planning her exit for 4 years. But up until that time, that Arsenal win a cup with Declan as captain, for all their posturing, it will hurt them every time they look at us, the massive ex-lover, knowing full well that we first. I thought that was good. A comment from Nick. It's true, like we are saying, like, You know, here's your missus. Oh, you've been a great wife, but you know, good luck with the new bloke. You know, nice new shiny house and all of that. Like, listen, Nick, we know this. It's not like he's been. Oh, I wanted to stay and we've forced him out. They've had this move, not this necessarily Arsenal, but they've had a move on their mind for the last 3 years. They've been,
Okay.
when they started to
Right,
know.
hold on. Before you go on, right? Let me build upon this analogy then. Okay. Right. So he's talking about wives and leaving her for new men, and you've been a great wife for 6 years, right? So turn around. What happens if your wife turns around and goes, you know, I want more from this life? You know, I've had a, you know, I love you to pieces, and this happens. You know, I love you to pieces. I can't just keep on going around in circles like this. You know, we need to be more ambitious. We need to be, you know, we need to get out more. We need to do this. We need to do that. I want to do different things. And the husband turns around and goes, well, I'm not willing to change. You know, I haven't got the funds, or, you know, you want to go on 2 holidays a year. I ain't got the funds to do that. You know, you want to do this, you want to do that. You want this, and, you know, and they have discussions, and although they're loved, yeah, and they're always committed to each other, right? Sometimes you amicably split because we don't have the same path. We haven't got the same path that if West Ham were to be taken over by a billionaire tomorrow, yeah, I've got no doubt in my mind that he would put pen to paper and say, "Fuck it, let's go for the ride." You know, if you can promise me the world and you can deliver, let's go for it and let's try it. I've got no doubt in my mind. But the way the things are going at the minute, yeah, the way the things are going at the moment at the club, David Sullivan is still in charge. Yeah, that never changes.
Which he won't be for much longer.
Well, you don't know that.
He's not getting any younger, is he?
No, he's not getting any younger. But I'm just saying, like, you know, you got to be talking about in a certain time frame. Yeah, because Declan Rice can't be waiting 20 years for someone to take over the club or the club to be successful. He's got a certain time frame himself. Yeah. So David Sullivan's still in charge, right? We played some of them, and Dan, you were sitting here with me, right? Last season, yeah, we played some of the most dross football I've ever seen from a manager that has been refuted by staff members and everything as they've walked out the door and just said, look, you know, the Warburton interview was telling for me. You know, he turns around and he goes, look, I left because I don't want to fall out with the geezer because I'm basically against everything he was doing because everything was wrong. Yeah. So everybody, and there was talks of Declan getting involved in them conversations with Nolan and all of that sort of thing, telling him, look, you're fucking going to take us down. You know, we can't carry on playing like this. Dan, and it was dross. You was there for most of it.
It was. No, it was. It was. So and that's, you can understand that.
It's dross. It's fucking dross. So what does it show? And in them moments, that board were not only willing to keep him in charge, but they're willing to keep our status, to gamble our status, just to take the cheap way out.
But there's a lot of fans.
That is not a way. That is not a way that you progress a football club. We're going backwards again, you know, and it needs a big rebuild. The fact that they couldn't see, not that they couldn't see, but they refused to look at other options with David Moyes and, you know, and things like that, just shows you the ambition we have got. And we can't match his ambition.
A lot of fans agreed with the decision to keep Moyes and want Moyes and love Moyes. But do you know what the problem I have with this? And I picked it out something you said. Obviously, you said made good points there. I hate this idea that we should be grateful to Moyes. Look what he's stayed with us for all these years. He could have left years ago, and he was so good and we're so lucky to have had him. Yeah? With Rice, yeah. Let's pick no fucking bones about it. Declan Rice should be grateful to West Ham United because Chelsea dumped him. He's without a club, right? And he would tell you he was deflated, dejected. His family had to try and keep his spirits up. West Ham gave him a chance. We developed him, right? We coached him. We trained him. We improved him. We gave him a chance at a young age. We took him from a centre-back to a midfielder, which he is now being signed as the most expensive British player as a midfielder that we made him, right? So let's just stop all of this. Oh, little old West Ham, we're so lucky to have had him. Bless him. He stayed for longer than he should have. He could have left. No. Declan Rice, and I'm sure it will be, that needs to be the narrative. Thank you, West Ham. I would not be the player I am today without West Ham United Football Club. That's how it goes.
But he hasn't gone anywhere yet, and he hasn't said anything yet.
No, but what I'm saying is I have a problem with the fans' attitude, because you know what? Half our fans have such a tin pot mentality with this club. I'm so sick of it. This little old West Ham,
But Dan, it's hard not to have a tin pot mentality when the club have got a tin pot mentality.
Yeah, but to be fair, and this is what I'm saying, like we have just done on a trophy, and look, there's a lot of problems still at this club, and I'm not a Sullivan lover. I'm one of his biggest critics ever. Right, but we've got some good players in this club. I have a big problem with Moyes, and yes, I think that he should have left after the trophy. Right, I do think that he should have left, and we should have got a new manager in, and we haven't. It's hard to sack a bloke after wins your first trophy in 43 years. I weren't outraged that we didn't sack him after that. I think that was the right decision. I'm going to give him a chance next season to go again. But at the end of the day, we have to. Our fans need to stop putting our club down like this as a club. Whatever you think of Sullivan, I see it all the time on Twitter. The same with Moyes. Like when people were propping Moyes up, they prop other people up. They prop players up and prop managers up at the expense of our club and put our club down. We are a big club. We have a massive fan base. We see it at the parade. Last minute, we packed 200,000 fans with such short notice, with thousands still in Prague. We are a good club. We're a special club.
I agree. But then it comes down to what that club want to achieve. We've got the fan base. We've got the tools. We've got good players. But as I said before,
lack of trying, we spent 200 million quid last season.
But let's have a look now what Arsenal are doing. Yeah, and although it pains you to see it, they're going out, identifying positions and buying top quality. Because Declan Rice is top quality. They want top quality. Saliba come back. He was quality. They've just signed him to a new deal. They've got Saka on a long-term deal. They've got Martinelli on a long-term deal. They've got Declan Rice now, it seems. They're going out and signing Timber. They've got Havertz. I don't really understand it, but obviously they've got a plan for him. They're still looking. Again, we're signing up Ogbonna and fucking Cresswell, and all the rumours that I've been hearing, and I'm not going to go by the rumours, is that basically we're looking to fucking decimate our squad. That's the difference.
Yeah, of course. It's hard. Yeah, comparing us to them is we're always going to lose.
I'm not convinced it's going to work out for Arsenal. I'm not convinced it's going to work out for him. I'm convinced it's going to work out for Arsenal. I'm not convinced at all. There's a lot of work to be done there still. And if you're taking out, they talk like it's all. The fact is, they're talking to me today. We're going to be challenging for the league, and you're going to be fighting relegation. Well, how the fuck do you know that? What evidence have you got? One season. Well,
that's the thing. That's why it's so he's so enamored by Arsenal, right? He could have gone. He's one of these players. He could have gone to so many clubs, right? But he basically was giving him the come get me. Didn't even want to consider other clubs, right? It was only Man United didn't get a chance to come in, like Liverpool or whatever, whether they had the money or not. But it was just that he was spent so much time talking to Arsenal and being linked with Arsenal. It was all Arsenal. It's like that was his the fact that was his preferred destination. It was put out there. Like, are you joking? Like, your preferred destination is to go to a London club, one of these clubs, just because. Yeah, and all of this bollocks. Like, I want to stay in London. I don't care where I stay. Oh man, I think.
No, listen. He hasn't said anything. There is no words that have come out of his mouth that you can pinpoint him to a quote to about wanting to stay at Arsenal, going to dinner with Mikel Arteta, blah 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 blah. It's all hearsay. It's all clairvoyant in the nose that are making up fucking like that are bridging the gaps that nobody can know. There's not a single person that could know the conversations that he's already had. But listen, we're getting off the subject a little bit. We're going to take some comments now. But listen, I respect your opinion, Dan. I always do. And I respect everyone's opinion in here. And I hope that, and this is what we do ask for people in the chat, on Twitter and all that. Just respect opinions. Just because my opinion isn't the same as your opinion doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean it's right. Do you want to read some comments, mate?
Yeah, let's read some comments. without a shadow of a doubt, the only West Ham captain in this generation to captain us to a trophy. Probably the last. All right, fucking happy. Steve Tiley, Rice no longer wears the claret and blue. He has moved on. So should all we. The club is bigger than any individual. Absolutely, mate. Ryan, so Darren Matthews, Ryan is going to say the same thing about Declan Rice like he does any other player that leaves. Yeah, good luck to him. I wish him well. Listen, we can't talk for Ryan. He's not here, but
hold on a minute. What are you picking him for?
He's not even here.
He's not here. He's not sending it in. Fucking poor bastard. He's getting fucking dragged through the ringer.
And the thing is, I wish him good luck in his international career. I can't wish him good luck at Arsenal because I hope he doesn't win a fucking egg and spoon race.
I love the guy and I've enjoyed the guy. Yeah. But why he's still in a competition that West Ham United are in, whether it be Premier League, FA Cup and all that, fuck him.
Yeah. No, even if we got relegated, I don't care. I don't want him to win the Champions League with him. I don't want him to win the Premier League. I don't want him to win the Carabao. I don't want him to win anything with Arsenal. I hope he wins Euros and World Cups and all of that, and individual. I don't want him to win a thing with them. How good would that be that he leaves for trophies and the only trophy he ever wins in his career is at West Ham? Beautiful. Sorry, but not a legend, says Kevin. Prawny says, Nicky, with all due respect, as a fan of the club, he would tell you that, wouldn't he? Oh, we've gone so far back.
No, you're getting that. That was about when I said I'd spoken to him. It wasn't what he said. It was the way he said it. You had to be there.
Yeah.
You had to be there.
Mike, in my honest opinion, Rice, not a legend. If wanted to become a true legend, he would have stayed, i.e. Noble. Yeah, and people dismiss Noble's quality. Like when we got relegated, he could have left. He's a Premier League quality player and we was in the Championship. He could have left.
Look, do you know what? I'd love it if we got taken over by a billionaire tomorrow. It'd be like the Goonies.
Yeah, honestly. So Rubber Fingers one says he doesn't have claret and blue blood running through his veins. You can only become a legend in this club if you remain faithful, i.e. Noble, Moore, etc. Yeah, like I said, and I think like apparently people throw out this Bobby Moore wanting to leave for Tottenham thing, which his family is disputed. At the end of the day, he came through our academy and stayed here until his career sort of was running its course, and then he had a couple more years left in him. You know, we had his best years. Rice hasn't even given us his best years because he's 24 years old. He's only going to get better. So we didn't get his best years. Cheers, Rice. Chris Mills says, I really like Rice both as a player, as a person, but if you leave for a London club, you can't be a legend. Their fans are such divs. They don't deserve him. He goes to City. No one cares. Absolutely. Spot on, Chris. I completely agree with you, mate. Good luck, Mickey. Good luck to Declan. He served us well. And it's time for him to move on. Everyone give him a break. It's a profit business now. We've made a lot of money. We ain't made it yet because these mugs won't agree to our payment structure. So let's see what happens with that. IGA says, in another 20, 30 years, when we ain't won F-all, we will look back and say he is a legend. He won't win F-all at Arsenal. So what if we do win other trophies, then what will we say? If we do get an FA Cup or another conference or a Europa League or something, you know, you never know. Dan Powers, I've got mixed opinions with Rice going to Arsenal. I thought he'd be signing with Chelsea because of his fam, all from Man City. Apparently, they've had a falling out with Chelsea, the Rice lot. He said they've had a massive falling out, and that's why he didn't want to go there. West Ham faithful. Antonio has played twice as many games as Paolo Di Canio, scored 50% more goals. Ollie says Tony Cottee left us twice, and everyone says he's a club legend. That's what I don't consider Cottee a club legend. I consider him
but many do. But many do.
I don't, because he was one of them. Like, yeah, but and that's the thing. At least he went to Everton. Were good in their day. He didn't go to Arsenal. He didn't go to Spurs. You know, he didn't go to Chelsea. He went to flipping Everton, right? Who ain't a London club. So there is that, but he did leave. Yeah, you know, it's debatable. Have I read that one again? Oh yeah, don't consider Di Canio a legend. Didn't play enough games. Marlon Harewood played more games and goals in his time at West Ham. But it's not all about goals, is it? He's a great player. Yeah, I can't believe there's actually a debate whether he's a legend or not. We don't know what side of the fence you're on there, Hallam. I don't know what you're feeling on that. Steve Peachy says the kiss the badge rubbish has to stop at clubs. Players move around all the time. Noble was the only one who can do that. Rice, great servant to the club, and wish him luck. Yeah, if he's going kissing our badge, then kissing Arsenal's badge. Yeah. Now we know how the Irish felt, says John Miles. Yeah.
Not quite. Not quite.
He's done an island on
Clearly.
us. He's done a fucking island on us. When Moore, and speaking of the island, Dublin Hammer forever says, when Moore left for Fulham, he was a legend, only Englishman to win the World Cup. Like I said, he was at the end of his time. West Ham didn't need him anymore. Right, West Ham still need Declan Rice. West Ham faithful, he's talking to Chris Mills. So why isn't Lampard Senior and Ken Brown considered legends compared to Bonds, Moore, and Sir Trev? I mean, they are considered legends, aren't they? I don't know. Anyone could say Lampard Senior is not a legend at this football club. Second highest appearance maker.
Of course he is.
Pivotal in winning 2 trophies at this club. Anyone that says he ain't a legend doesn't know what they're talking about. And Ken Brown, a lot of players from that era. That's such a mythical era. Clyde Best for me. I got to interview legend. Broke ground at West Ham, and that is a special time in football that we'll never see again. I think. I weren't alive for it, but just players were different back then. Chris Simpson says West Ham legends: Bobby Moore, Martin Peters, Jeff Hurst, Paolo Di Canio, Julian Dix, Trevor Brooking, Billy Bonds, Noble, and outside shout. Martin Peters, I don't mention, is the Spurs thing. But, we did obviously get Grooves in the swap, wasn't it? And yeah, I don't know about Martin Peters. But older fans, I'd love to hear from you who was around that time. Burns says he's a legend. Won you guys a trophy, one of your own, captained you, and was the best player for West Ham multiple years. Look, I'm all about opinions and opinions from everyone. It's not West Ham, but I won't be told by non-West Ham fans who's a legend or not. I mean, if that's your opinion, that's fair enough, but you won't convince me. Dan, you don't like any club. London clubs don't sit on the fence. Yep. It's true. It's true. Was it Monty Don says he's a West Ham legend for me. Fair enough, Monty. Steve Foley, good, but never a legend. Never ever a legend. If he loved the club, he would stay. As for moving on to the next level, he could have done that here. We need to stop with the small man level. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I thought about your analogy in it. It's like your missus leaves you after you've just taken her to the fucking Maldives and given her the best experience of her lifetime. That's kind of what he's done. We've just won a trophy. Like, we've given him that. We won a trophy. We've given him his best memory, best moment in football.
It's
he could have given us a bit.
You get a taste of the high life, Dan, as they say.
He could have given us another couple of years, and he was there conducting the more year, Declan Rice, singing along, going, yeah, come on, 2 more years, and then twerking for Arteta. Dix is a legend. What's with that Saka photo then? What's Saka photo? Someone enlighten me. What's the Saka photo?
The one with England?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything dodgy? How anyone define a legend? Obviously, everyone has their own interpretations of what a legend is. And again, to me, legends can't exist currently. You can't be a legend while you're still playing. Legends are, in the past. I'm not saying you have to die, but you're still playing the game. Technically, still a West Ham. I don't think anyone is a legend who's currently playing for West Ham. I didn't think Noble was a legend while he was still playing for West Ham.
Can I answer this one, Dan? Sorry, before you go into that. Daniel says wanting him to go to City that desperately was embarrassing. I'm assuming you're an Arsenal fan.
He's obviously an Arsenal fan.
Premier League will end up like the Bundesliga if all the best players go to City. That's not my fucking problem. That's your fucking problem. If you're the high and mighty Arsenal, that's not.
And if you want a competitive league, if you're so concerned about the quality of the league, then how about you try and tell your clubs to stop signing the top players from other teams in the league? You want a great league, a competitive league. Why should we all want the best players to go to Arsenal? Why do Arsenal have to be the club that stops Man City? Why do we want that? Like that entitlement from Arsenal fans is hilarious. If you feel like that, then start complaining. Protest Arsenal signing the likes of Declan Rice, and flipping Trossard and stuff like that. And let's try and keep the best players at Brighton, at West Ham, yeah, and all that. So those clubs can build and we can have a more competitive league.
They don't want a competitive league. They want to dominate it, which I don't, I'm not against, everyone does want it, but don't sit there disguising your fact that, we would, when he's leaving us to go and win trophies, that we want him to actually go into the team that winning all the trophies because it makes it softer on us. Yeah. I don't see the project at Arsenal, that everyone else sees. That's up to you. There's an old saying: the proof is in the pudding. One swallow does not a summer make. Yeah. Is the old saying.
Arsenal want to be Man City. Yeah, Arsenal want to be the Bundesliga. They want to be the Bayern Munich. That's what they want. So don't sit here about this fake integrity of the league. Yeah, just because you just want to win it.
Yeah, that ain't our problem. That's your problem, not my problem. Until we start competing for the league, then it'll become our problem.
Yeah.
There we go.
Some people don't even count Noble as a West Ham legend, so Rice definitely ain't one for me. Fantastic player and person, but not a West Ham legend. Left for a team who aren't winning things anytime soon. There you go. I mean, I see you've started this other Arsenal fan stuff, so let's just run through it, get it out of the way. Arsenal's second most valuable squad in world football. Well, there you go. So you better fucking win something then, innit? Hey?
Yeah, no excuses now.
No excuses. You're always saying acting like he should have stayed at West Ham is delusional. He was always going to leave. Oh, but I thought you wanted a competitive league. Want him to, oh yeah, that's what he said. It's just I hate the entitlement from Arsenal fans, the arrogance. I ain't won a league in nearly 20 years. He is grateful. He never said he isn't. What the fuck? No, I'm not saying this about Rice isn't grateful. I said the fans that act like we should be grateful to Rice. I said it's the other way round. Of course, I'm grateful to how good he's played. He's always been professional. He's always gave his all. I'm grateful for that. But I'm saying that stop this mentality of we're all little old West Ham. We're lucky Rice played for us and he stayed for an extra year. He could have gone 2 years ago. He could have pushed the move. No, we need to look at the other way. Yeah, we've done Rice a favour here. We've done wonders for his career. That's how we look at it. Matt Rainey, as we always say, the club is always bigger than a player. No club should ever be grateful to any player. The players should be grateful for the opportunity to play professional football under the team. Yeah, and play for a club like West Ham. Absolutely spot on. Good old E20 Zone TV, £5 super chat. Thank you so much, mate. Do go give him a subscribe. No man is bigger than West Ham United Football Club. We move on and create a new start. This is West Ham. Yep.
Daniel James says, sorry, mate, just quickly.
I'll put it back up.
For people to think that Arsenal won't win anything soon is plain stupid, considering the squad they are building. I'll say this with my chest. Prime 2015, 2016, Tottenham built a bit bigger squad, a better squad, and they didn't win fuck all.
Yeah.
So, as I said, don't sit here convincing us about what you're going to win. Go and win it and then talk.
Yeah, and they're saying it. And so, you win a Carabao Cup, maybe. Well done. But we're talking about, you're definitely not winning no league or Champions League.
Let them just talk. They end up talking themselves into stupor.
All the time. They won the league in January. Unbelievable. Ben Donlan 269 says Rice has done nothing wrong. Sullivan wanted to cash in as well, just as much as Rice wanted to leave. Don't be fooled. So they're both wrong, because you're saying he wanted to cash in as much as Rice wanted to leave. So Rice wanted to leave. Sullivan wanted to cash in.
There was never a realistic offer on the table. I've heard some rumours, and I won't say them as truth, alleged, right? So there was a time when the discussions were going on, and I'll let you a little bit into this, right? And this, I've never confirmed this, but it came from a very reputable source, which, if you've ever watched DR Sports, sometimes my reputable source fucking lead me up the wall. But so I'll tell you this, right? He would not pay him the same amount of money that he would pay the likes of Hernandez and Yarmolenko at one point. And the only time when he went over that is when he offered him an 8-year deal. They didn't want him to sign the deal.
Yeah. But I don't think he would have. To be fair, I think he always wanted. Like I said, he's always had his eye on this move. Oh, I want to win this. I want to win that. But it's so funny. He did an interview not like long ago. I want to win everything. I want to win the Premier Leagues, the Champions Leagues, the FA Cups, the Carabao Cup. I want to win everything there is to win in football. And then you go to Arsenal, who's won, 4 trophies in 18 years, which I would kill for. By the way, that's not me looking down on it as a West Ham fan, but as a football fan, if you're comparing yourself to the top tier, you know what I mean? That's the point. How, boys, how's your summer going? I mean, just the summer in general is going well. I mean, the transfer window will remain to be seen. Another gooner. What sort of reception do you think Arsenal get when Arsenal play West Ham? I don't think he'll get booed as long as he don't say anything to upset the West Ham fans, as long as he don't celebrate when he scores against us or if he scores against us and he handles himself with respect and decency, which I think he will. I think fans will clap him, if he comes over and claps us or whatever. I ain't going to sing his name. I ain't going to sing fucking Declan Rice or whatever. What do you think, Nick? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll get a good
AGA thinks he'd get booed. I don't think he'll get booed.
He won't.
I won't. Like I said, as much as I'm pissed off he's gone to those mugs, I won't boo him. As long as he handles.
Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard. What are you trying to tell me? That like Harry Kane, Son, Alderweireld, Prime Lloris,
Prime Eriksen,
Prime Christian Eriksen. Yeah, they were as good, if not better. You've got there's still proof. You've got to prove it. Don't tell me that they're better. Prove it.
Yeah, let's do it. Do it on the pitch. But yeah, I think if anyone does, but it would be a very small minority if anyone booed him. I think 99% of fans will either be silent or clap him. If he comes over, if he claps the fans or whatever, or I'll clap him. At the end of the day, he's left. He hasn't dissed us or anything, so I want to give us a good impression. I want us to show class. At the end of the day, it's our reputation out there, so that's it. But
yeah, look, and again, IGA fact is Spurs come closer to Champions League and the Premier title in Arsenal have in recent years. Again, yeah, they've got to prove it. We're meant to be just believing their words. One thing I've noticed about Arsenal fans over the last couple of weeks, if you don't tell them or say exactly what they want you to say or what they think, is they will just attack you for the sake of attacking you and then start putting up silly flags about
the most pathetic, sensitive fan base.
Good luck to them. Good luck to them. That's what I want to say.
I've got a lot of Arsenal mates that agree and they think their fans are pathetic. A lot of them, I've spoke to some and they're like, yeah, our fans, some of our fans. So it's not all of them. If you're one of the good ones, it don't apply to you. If you're one of these freak sensitive, fans that fly off the handle, if you don't say Arsenal are by far the greatest team the world's ever seen, then yeah. Stevie Warboys, Arsenal fans give the club a bad name. Yeah. It's true. So many people say it. It's not just us. So many fans of other clubs say Arsenal have the worst fans. It's true. So even Antonio said it, funnily enough, a footballer who's not involved in all this fan business. So look, we've talked to death. Look, I said, right, Nick reckons he's a legend. I don't think he's a legend. Either way, as it stands, he's still a West Ham fan.
Hold on. Sorry. 2015-16 Spurs were so good that Arsenal finished above him. Sorry, I didn't get the year right, mate. But if I know correctly, that was the last time he did finish above them. So
yeah, it was. It was the last time.
Sorry, it was the next year.
And they got they had a very good. The point is that their squad was. You're building this excellent squad. They had that excellent squad and still didn't win anything. There's no. You think there's guarantees in football, and that's the thing. Arsenal fans talk as if there's guarantees in football. We sign these players that are good on paper. We should win the league. We should get better. It don't work like that, mate. It don't work like that. And Spurs fans will tell you that, So
anyway,
that's
how do we rebuild, Dan? What are we rebuilding?
Yes. Rice is off 105 million. We're linked with a lot of players, mate. But we need 2 midfielders. That if we're talking about Rice, 2 midfielders, because Rice kind of did the job of 2 midfielders because he had Souček next to him. And I hate dissing Souček because I love him as a person, like from what I've seen and how he conducts himself. Seems such a great bloke. But on the pitch, he's been, anonymous. So we need someone to come in that can really focus on being a defensive midfielder. Rice he was a defensive midfielder, but he just wanted to get forward. You can tell we love to get forward. Have someone there that your primary job is to defend and be that defensive midfielder. And then have someone, you've got Paqueta, and if we have another three, whether it's, Zakaria or someone or an Onana who can drive forward a bit more. And our midfield, I think, and this is what I said on TalkSport yesterday, we may not get a player as good as Rice, one player, but if we get two good players that can do, those jobs really well, the offensive and the defensive, we have a balanced and better and stronger midfield. That's what I think we need.
Yeah, we need to reinvent the midfield. Rice has been for the past 5-6 years a big part of how we've played, and there isn't anyone that's going to replace him that we can either afford or attract. So we have to go a different direction. I like the Ward-Prowse. Someone's just saying he's a set piece merchant style way. Listen, the way we play under Moyes is we play for set pieces. So, if you got someone that can fucking master them, it'll be good for the tactics that we're gonna. Look, I don't want to keep Moyes.
Snodgrass is great at set pieces. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Have him back at the club.
Ward-Prowse is a better player than Snodgrass.
No, I know. He just don't excite me. I think like for set pieces, Creswell stood at the club. He's excellent for set pieces. I wouldn't get him in just for the set pieces. It just, I said that yesterday, it don't excite me, Ward-Prowse. It doesn't.
No, but I would like
get my juices flowing.
A Sakira. We've been linked with him.
Oh, Zakaria, yeah.
Zakaria,
yeah. He's a young player, and we do need more youth. Our squad is quite old. We need to bring that average age down a bit and get some young blood in there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think on the ball, he looks excellent. He looks like he can inject that bit of energy we need in midfield. And, you get someone in. I think Paulinho is off the cards. They're sticking to 90 million. And I can't, slate him because of how we've been like, look, and I said this to a Fulham fan. He's like, well, Rice, people, I said, Paulinho's done it for one season. It's basically a piss off price. It's we don't want to sell.
Yeah.
So Paulinho is off the table. But Amrabat from Fiorentina, I would take. I would definitely.
Oh, do you know what? I would, listen, people do forget that, last season, although our league form was very poor, all this talk is about Arsenal, our West Ham are a tiny club. I think we've got a bit of pull at the minute. I think they've got a bit of pull, and there'll be players.
We're in Europe. We've just got a trophy.
Yeah, we've got a trophy in Europe. Moyes ain't going to be an attraction, but we've got a little bit of pull. So go out and make a statement like this one that's on the screen right now. Jonathan David. He's a player that excites me. He's a forward, and he excites me so much. I've been watching him for the past few years. He's a very, very exciting player. He's not quite there in terms of sought after by the big boys, but he's someone that if we laid down the money, he could be a absolute steal. It'll cost a bit, but he won't cost as much as like the ready-made Canes or anything like that. But honestly, he really excites me. So I want to see a statement signing like that. We can't.
What the problem is with that, with Jonathan David, is another David Moyes, because excellent player. We bring him West Ham, and he's going to be isolated up front on his own, expect to do all this work, and not really get service, not really have players in and around him. If we continue to play the way we do. So yeah, I agree with everything you just said there. That's my concern is Moyes' track record with strikers at this club is shambles. I've been saying like, we might as well get Adama Traore in and stick him up.
Listen, whatever people would say as well, the Rice money isn't the only money we've got. We've got other money.
And nor should it be.
No, nor should it be. No, we would have already had a transfer budget in place. We need to get the likes of Scamacca playing. We don't want to be loaning him out or anything like that. Eddie Nketiah, I think he's a good player. I think he would do a good job for us.
But again, he's another one, Nick. Like you ask any Arsenal fan, he's like another Aubameyang type. Like unlike a Jesus Lacazette, who done a lot around off the ball and around the pitch and didn't just require service. Again, I agree. I think there's a player there, and I think a drop down for him to another club, I think he could excel. But he's someone that if he's not banging in the goals, he's not offering much else.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is he needs the service. We have a Moyes problem, and Moyes needs to figure that out. He's going to be the manager next season, and he's got to solve that problem, because Antonio's not getting any younger, and he might not be here next season. So he needs to either find another Antonio, or he needs to change his ways.
If it was down to me, Dan, I wouldn't have Antonio here this season, and that is the God's honest truth.
I know that, but he's the only freaking striker that fits Moyes, you know. And this
I know, but you know, this is a chance for Moyes to prove us all wrong and reinvent himself. He's got the money, he's got the a little bit of pull as well. You know what I mean? But as I said, like when you're losing a player of such stature as Declan Rice, you need to bring one in as well. You know, to sort of balance the book. You know, you can't be letting your big stars go, because once you start letting your big stars go and not replacing them with decent quality, the other stars start going, hold on a minute, what the fuck's going on here?
And this is another name, actually. I think Fordy says is Onana going Man U now.
What I read is fuck him.
The Onana that's going Man U, I'm pretty sure is Inter's Onana.
The goalkeeper.
But I don't know what happened around us. I don't know the circumstances surrounding Onana, why he didn't come. There's a lot of mixed fucking stories, whether he just flat out turned us down. But let's just look at him. Whatever that aside, as a player, I would definitely take him if the price is right.
Yeah, I would take him. But I don't think, you know, I don't think you can judge him by one season at Everton. Yeah, he looked good at Everton, but they were shit. They were fucking shit.
They were shit, but there's obviously something we saw in him.
So I'm not missing out on him for 35 million to pay 55 million pounds. You know, that close on. No way. You know, we're getting our pants pulled down like we did with Andre Ayew if we do that.
Yeah. I understand. That would be a hard pill to swallow, you know. But I think
Harvey Barnes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's talking 30 million, but
still.
Villa, Newcastle, Spurs are all in for him. So we have to really get our shit together.
Well, I've heard tonight that it's quite advanced, the talks between us. So
yeah, we'll have to see, obviously, if that comes to fruition. But yeah, that could be a very good sign. Someone who fits Moyes' system as well, I think could fit Moyes. And this is what we need to look. And obviously, Tim Steidten is starting on Monday, right? He's starting work on Monday. And my worry is, I'm excited by it. Of course, I'm excited. But obviously, he's someone who's helped build progressive teams, you know. Now, he's going to come in with David Moyes. And I just want them to have a plan in place of, this is how we're going to play. Work together to identify those players. If we're going to play, you know, shitty Moyes ball for the season, let's all agree. Everyone get on the same page and start and go, okay, I don't agree with it, but this player would suit that system. Okay, you want to play this low block counter attack? Yep, this player, and then identify those. Don't just bring in quality players on paper and go, yeah, well, there's a good player, and he don't fit the system. Or Moyes changes and fully commits to the change, because that sounds like he didn't. You know, he wanted to change, or he felt like he needed to, or he was told to change, and he didn't fully commit to it. And he was this half, are we possession? Are we not possession? Are we counter or what? You know, that's worrying. But Steidten excites me. Like, you know, that does, I have to say, regardless of the pitch. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you need to have progression. And if it's progression, if it's the way that I think it's going to go, progressive sides, you know, that's all good with me. But we start wrapping it up now.
Yes, we'll get these comments.
Get a couple of comments, and then I want to show you the image for the new T-shirts.
So yeah, but someone said Souček had better defensive stats than Amadou Onana last season. I think the problem is with Souček, and if he is going to stay, because that is, I've always said this, his strongest part of his game is defensively, but we don't operate him and utilize him as like a holding midfielder. Like, yes, your main job is to defend. He gets deployed like much higher up on the pitch than he should do. Yeah. And my other problem is with him is that he can put the tackles in, but once he puts the tackle in, he can't then go and start an attack. It's just basically slowing the opposition down rather than intercept, get up, pass, move.
Yeah.
That's what we need from a defensive midfielder, like Rice
Absolutely.
could do with his defensive. Get hold of that ball and pass and move. So,
And we're not expecting anyone to be as good as him, but you know, you can always get someone that does a similar job to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
But
get
then,
someone by him as quality, you know.
yeah, exactly. They may not have the overall defensive stats, but when they do defend, they can get hold of the ball and we can then counter. That's the problem. If we're a counter-attacking side, we have to be able to get the ball and whether put in a tackle, intercept, and then start an attack. We can't just get it and then it goes to one of their players. Like we've put in a tackle and then they've still got the ball, or we get it and we're standing there going, "Who do I pass to? Where do I pass?"
Which is even with Declan Rice, we struggled with last year. So.
Yeah, you have to be quick, decisive. Get that ball as soon as you can. Move, counter, quick. Move as a unit. Zakaria, very injury prone, guys. He's a young player, isn't he? Like, I have to look into that. Like, but I know he's still quite young. Damien D'Amico says JWP, no way, and we need more pace up there up front. Yeah, we definitely need pace, which is why there's that. What was that guy from Coventry? The player. I see him and he looked like he's got a lot of similar qualities to Antonio, but he seems slow to me.
Slow, yeah. I know what you mean.
Issue, yeah. I forget the geezer's name, but it looks like he's got a lot of similar attributes. Can hold up the ball quite strong, can move the ball with his feet, but seemed a bit too slow.
Yeah, we need to get balance.
Young Antonio, yep, absolutely disabled team if we can. But again, there's not many Antonios out there. He's a rare breed. Ultra 505 says at West Ham Fan TV, do you guys think Moyes struggles to attract top quality? I mean, I'm seeing the likes of Villa sign Pau Torres, and I'm not sure if Rice could attract that quality of player. Now, I was really thinking, it's interesting you brought this, because I was really just thinking to myself to this the other day, is I don't think Moyes has Paul like that. And that's a big problem.
That's why I said he should have been replaced, but
yeah,
there we go.
Because it's not just obviously him as his reputation in the game in terms of being that's David Moyes. It's obviously the style of play isn't an attraction, and like you alluded to earlier, Nick, like when talking about Rice, like players don't enjoy playing this brand of football. Yeah, it's your job.
It's going to go to a club. It's like, you know, when you've talked about those types of Paquetá and Scamacca, who the fuck's going to go to a club that take 25% possession in games?
Yeah.
You don't.
There you go. So yeah, I think you're onto something there, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. I'm sorry it was early, but thank you so much for getting involved. Let me just show you these quickly. In our store, we just got some new merch in. We've got the Championi Prague cups and T-shirts, and I just sold my car to Lucas Paquetá. T-shirts as well. So how do I take that off, Dan? There we go.
There you go. There you go.
So yeah, the link is in the description down below for them. You do get a discount if you're a patron. Talking about that, the patron. The camera's gone off.
Oh.
Never mind. We're wrapping up anyway. If you're a patron, the podcast is going to be up tomorrow morning. So keep an eye out for that. Give you something to watch over the weekend. But there we go, Dan.
Yeah,
want to wrap up?
Brilliant. Yeah, no, good debate, great show. Thank you for everyone, all your different opinions. Really help make the show, and all your comments, and we can bounce off you. So appreciate all of you. Leave a like on your way out, and we're going to be covering all of the transfer stuff over the summer. So stay tuned. Love it. One thing left to say.
Come on, you irons. I'm crossing my arms. You can't see me.